And now it's time to meet our next guest and trainer in a segment we call Bark in the Park. Jennifer Poole is a dog mom. She is a trainer and she is one of the innovators at Rangers Dog Post and Retreat in the Orlando area. Jennifer has spent years improving the lives of animals using proper training techniques and enrichment activities. And she joins us live from Winter Park, Florida. Jennifer, thank you so much for taking the time today to share lots of wisdom with us. There's so much that we can do with our dogs, and I know that you have so much experience and so much to bring.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's really great to meet you.
So, Jennifer, when did your love for dogs begin, and where did this love come from?
Oh gosh, ever since I was a kid, I think probably it was inspired by my parents. They're also animal lovers, and so we had lots of pets growing up. I mean, dogs, turtles, ferrets, birds, pretty much everything but cats, actually, because my mom is allergic.
Yes.
But yeah, lots of exposure to different types of animals.
And it's my understanding that you had a lot of exposure to lots of different animals in a zoo environment. So, how did you go from working in the zoo to working with dogs, and how did that differ from dog training, so to speak?
Sure. So, I've gotten to do both. I've been really lucky to have some very cool experiences in my life. I worked with a fabulous zoo here in Florida called the Brevard Zoo for a few years just out of college, did my internship there. And yeah, I worked with a lot of different species, rhinos, giraffes, a ton of birds, cassowaries, which are one of the scariest animals you'll ever work with. And
Wow.
then, dogs as well. Between Rangers and I used to work for the Pet Alliance of Greater Orlando, which formerly the SPCA. Kind of exposed to everything, but enjoyed the zoo work. It's very challenging, but there's just something about being able to build that bond with dogs and their owners that just is special, and that's kind of why I went down that career path.
Well, it sounds like you're always down for an adventure. I mean, the scariest animal that you talked about, it's like, okay, fast forward. You can handle anything with dogs, right? Tell us about this passion that you have for education. I know you gained a lot of experience, but how do you translate that passion into working with dogs and these different activities and enrichment games? Because it is so important for the overall health of our dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. I took a seminar once with he's called the godfather of positive reinforcement training. It's a really great trainer named Ian Dunbar. And he said something that really stuck with me. And that was, if you lose the owner, you lose the dog. And, it really kind of made sense to me that if the owner is bored or the owner is not having fun or the owner is frustrated, they don't want to do the training that their dog needs. Not just because you want a well-behaved dog, but also because they're like us. They have minds and they want to keep busy. They get bored. And building the bond, as Liz was talking about earlier, is so important to that relationship. So being able to find a way to kind of harness learning theory and the way that we process things that we're learning, and build on that to make it fun, I think has been key to the success here at Rangers.
Yes, that's so key. And in the process of doing this, you're building that bond with your animals, you're forming trust with them, you're showing how much you care. I know that you are known as an innovator in the industry. So, can you share with us some of these really cool enrichment games that you've developed? And I know that some of them are kind of like children's games. So, I can't wait to hear all about it.
Yeah, exactly. I am really big on, as I said, I want to make training fun, because people are more likely to stick with it and enjoy it with their dogs. One of my favorites is freeze tag. And essentially, it is getting your dog playing and just super amped up and getting them up in that high excitement zone. And then you stop and you have them sit and they freeze, and it helps out. It's fun for them. They're getting to expend some physical energy as well as getting the emotional enrichment, but it also helps them get used to being in that higher excitement zone and then coming back down quickly, so that in a situation, a practical situation, like now you're out on a walk and they see the mail truck and they want to bark at the mailman, it's that much easier for them to be able to come back down and calm down quickly because they're used to it. They've practiced it. So a lot of these silly, fun games are helping them practice for practical settings. Musical chairs is another one of my most popular games in my classes, and it's exactly what it sounds like. The people are walking around in a circle with their dogs, and I'll play music, and then as soon as the music stops, they have their dog sit, and the last dog to sit is obviously out. The final dog in is the winner. Silly little fun game. They have a great time with the competition, but it's a way for them to practice now, not just that your dog can sit and not just that your dog can walk on a leash, but can they do those things when you're walking around in a group with other dogs, with people, with movement, adding in all those distraction factors so they don't even realize that they're practicing a more difficult behavior.
That is so neat. And I imagine it builds confidence in the owners and also in the dog to be able to transition from, like you said, up here to down here. Like you said, if you're on a walk or in a serious situation, or you're just being playful, that is so neat how you just help to, again, equip owners and then the dogs with what they need to be successful in any environment. Now, I know you've worked really hard over the years to build your business and it's been really successful. You've been able to just transform Rangers Pet Outpost from more of a smaller operation into a really large one. So tell us and walk us through what that process has been like for you building a business and also maybe some of the challenges that you faced.
Sure. So I am really lucky to work for a really great pair of owners who have let me really build this training program from the ground up. And then while I've done that, we've also gone from, as you said, a very small business to really expanding the market as far as adding on boarding and daycare. And it's not easy. Obviously, the challenges of running a small business. I know everybody's kind of going through finding employees. The animal field burnout is hard because it's a farmer's life. You're up early. You have to be there all day. The dogs need love and care. It's dirty. It can be smelly. There's a lot of cleaning involved.
Yes.
Medical issues, things like that. So it's not easy, but the folks who stick around really love and care about the dogs. And that's been a huge thing in helping us become, honestly, we're one of the top places in the market. We just found out today that we won in one of the local magazines. We won basically #1 best doggy daycare, which was really exciting. So
that is amazing, Jennifer. That just has to fill you up so much to know that, you're not in it for necessarily the approval of others, but when people are recognizing your hard work and your efforts and the value that you bring to your community and to your customers, that is amazing. So congratulations. And thanks for sharing that news with us. That is so great. So when we talk to trainers or people in different communities, we just like to get a feel for, the place that you're living. I know that you're in Winter Park, in the Orlando area, for people who aren't familiar with Winter Park. So what is the shelter situation like in your community? I know this is something you're passionate about, and that's what I'm asking. So kind of give us an idea of, in your community, what you're facing.
Sure. So we do have, some local shelters. We actually, our local shelter, the Pet Alliance, last year sadly had a fire, and they lost their physical building. So that's been kind of a big thing is they've having to take on a lot of fosters, and luckily the community has joined in. Winter Park and Orlando in general is fabulous, full of pet owners, and really a strong community. So they've come out in force to help the shelters. But they do a great job. Lots of smaller rescues have pitched in to help out, which has been really nice. And then one nice thing that our local shelters do is they also have training and enrichment programs. So working on behavior modification to help with, a lot of dogs that are in shelters may have phobias, men or beards or hats or things like that. Or, a dog jumping up on their kennel door is not going to be as adoptable. So working on issues. And then also creating daycare programs and teaching them agility and tricks and nose work and things to provide enrichment for them, because dogs like us need to be mentally challenged.
Yes, definitely. And Liz, I actually used to live in the Winter Park area in Maitland. It's a beautiful community. And even when I was at SeaWorld, for example, they were using rescue dogs for some of their shows, which was so heartwarming. So you're right, that behavior modification ends up to be so important, whether it's not always an amusement park. A lot of times it's in families, but making sure that we're setting the animals up for success. So that's incredible, the work that's being done there. Kind of transitioning a little bit, staying with the more serious tone, I guess. We like to debunk myths here on Dog Mom News Live. That's important. Are there any myths that you want to help us dispel? Like the number one thing you think, people tend to get wrong?
Yeah, so I will tell you, one of the biggest myths that I try to cover in my classes is people have this thought process that a wagging tail means that the dog is friendly. So they'll be out on a walk and there's a strange dog and they think, oh, his tail is wagging, I should approach. Common misconception. It actually just means the dog is in a heightened state of arousal or excitement. Doesn't denote whether that's good excitement, hi, I want to be your friend, or I'm not so sure about this, let's keep your space. So I always like to make sure that my students know the difference. A happy, friendly wagging tail is going to be high and loose and floppy. And, you kind of see that bouncy body language.
Yes.
If you see a dog doing that, absolutely, that's somebody who is welcoming. Yeah, come be my friend. But a lot of times on walks, people will see the tail that's up and very stiff and slow. Ooh. And that is a tail that is signaling to you, I'm not so sure, let's keep our distance. And I do see a lot of people on walks who will have interactions that go wrong because they're not reading the body language. So that would probably be the number one myth that I like to debunk.
That is so helpful. So dog moms, you need to thank Jennifer right now. All of us are there going, yes, we thank you, Jennifer, for that tidbit and for sharing so much helpful information today. For our viewers who want to keep tabs on what you have going on, the many exciting things, what's the best way for them to follow you on social, or how should they do that?
Sure. So they can follow the Rangers Pet Outpost Facebook page. We also have our website, www.rangerspetoutpost.com, or they can follow me personally. They can look me up on Facebook, Jennifer Poole.
Okay, Jennifer Poole, thank you so much. We have gained so much helpful information today, and we're thankful. You take care.
Thank you. You too. Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. And be sure to join us Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our live show. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.